Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I was not expecting this. I knew these were cool cars, man. I was not expecting this. This is by far 2018 Ford Mustang Shelby GT350R. They say that if Porsche was to make a Mustang, it would be this. And now that's pretty high praise, and I'm curious if it actually lives up to the hype today. We're powered by the one and only 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V8, the Voodoo engine, which is making 526 horsepower at 7,500 RPM, 429 pound-feet at 4,750 RPM, with an 8,250 RPM redline. This engine is exclusive to the GT350 and GT350R, making it one of the most special and unique Mustang engines ever. Never used in any other Ford production vehicle, which of course adds to its legacy. Now, they benchmarked, of course, the Ferrari 458. Interesting, there was another American manufacturer that did that. And the Voodoo is actually 13 pounds lighter than the F136 engine that is found in the 458, that engine that has won many awards. And yes, this is also a flat plane crank, like the Z06, like the 458. This is a flat plane crank V8, but this sounds much more American than either of those two engines. The reason being, it has a different cylinder firing order, which gives it that more American sound and also much more mid-range torque versus the 458's F136 engine. It's mated to a Tremec 6-speed manual, thankfully no get drag unit here. It's relatively light by Mustang standards at least, 3,720 pounds. We have strut front, multi-link rear suspension, and Magna Ride dampers. We know how much we love those. Ferrari 458 also has second-gen Magna Ride, actually. Now keep in mind, this is the GT350R and not the regular GT350. The difference is, well, first of all, the MSRP is $7,500 higher, and you get carbon fiber wheels with wider, stickier tires. That's, of course, lower unsprung mass. And these carbon fiber wheels, I believe, are made in Australia by a company whose name I'm forgetting. Please comment below. The R also removes the back seat, the audio system, the floor mats, and auxiliary gauges. I mean, these can all be added back, but it gives you over 100 pounds of weight savings. You also have stiffer springs and retuned Magna Ride dampers with a more aggressive alignment. You get a diff cooler, engine oil cooler, and transmission cooler, a larger splitter, carbon fiber wing, and a resonator delete, which makes it, of course, louder. Now, market value for these is $55 to $65K. If you get the 2019 and 2020 model, they made some updates to the engine because the Voodoo does have some reliability issues. So it's going to be on the higher end. And if you get a pre-2019, it's going to be on the lower end. One thing I found hilarious is that they have this plastic splitter right here in the front. And when Jay Leno did his video review of the GT350R, he mentioned how he appreciates that it's plastic, that it's not going to cost thousands of dollars to replace when you eventually scrape it up. The owner just told me today he called Ford, and it's actually $1,500 to replace this plastic front splitter. So even with less expensive materials, it is still quite pricey. Now, going back to the 2019 model year refresh, the reason why those are valued higher in the market is because the Voodoo has these reliability issues. You have oil consumption, oil starvation on track, and with that flat plane crankshaft, you get more vibrations at certain RPMs, which you're gonna hear, don't worry. And that actually adds premature wear on bearings and mounts. So in the 2019 refresh, they addressed many of these issues, hence the market value differences. Liking these buckets, really actually quite comfortable, fitting me at 6'1", 180 pounds quite well. Good bolstering both for the thighs and on the back. And for those into watches, we're rocking the Bulova Lunar Pilot second watch, worn on the moon, high frequency quartz. Now in terms of modes, we have this button here. Normal, sport, track are what we're going to test. Let's start with normal, and you can independently toggle the dampers as well as the steering independently. Okay, that's cool. GT350R, love that. Little unique badge. I mean, the interior is still very much Mustang though, which is not necessarily a problem. I got good ergonomics, good positioning. Visibility is okay, not great, not terrible. I can't really see the front right arch, so placing the car is not as easy. A lot of people overestimate the width of these cars. They're not as wide as you may think, and that lack of visibility up there exacerbates the issue. Yeah, even in normal mode. Holy shit. Even in normal mode, this is not quiet and not a tame vehicle. Let's give this what it wants. Let's go to sport. Opens up the exhaust valves at a lower RPM. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is by far the sharpest Ford Mustang I've ever driven. Nice, super mechanical Tremec 6-speed manual transmission. Good tight throws, good spacing between the gates. Look at that, such a natural throttle response with that heel-toe downshift, no learning curve. That's pretty Porsche-like if you ask me. One-to-one input to output. Good steering weight in sport mode. It actually feels exactly the weight that I would want for a car of this weight and size. Although right off center, there's like a little bit of this weird artificial weighting. Let's move this back down into normal. Yeah, interesting. I actually get, you have higher resolution feedback in the normal steering setting, but the weight isn't as heavy as I would want. But I would probably drive more in normal just to get that extra feedback. A little bit more delicate this way. Holy shit, dude, this engine. You can hear at certain RPMs, you're gonna hear some rattling and vibrations coming through the shifter here. You can hear that, comes in and out at different RPMs. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god, dude, this is incredible. Very sharp front end, willing to change direction. Doesn't feel like there's that much weight up there, actually. It feels far more agile and not darty, right? I mean, this thing will tramline, but it's not an overly darty front end. It follows your input one-to-one. Love that. Good natural steering ratio, good feedback through the wheel, at least in this normal setting. Suspension in sport mode, pretty firm. Magnarite has this great range from soft to the sportiest setting. Speaking of which, let's actually go up into track mode. Very pleasant to use manual transmission, exactly what you want. I think the thing that's very Porsche-like about this car, okay, wow, that's actually a little bit pogo sticky. Let's dial that down into sport setting on the dampers. I like that you can independently adjust that on the fly. Oh yeah, you can feel it want to rotate on throttle. How? Oh my god, dude. And it just keeps going. Right when you think you're about to hit red light, it just keeps going. It ends up, you have another 1,000 RPM to go. What an incredible machine. Wow, wow, wow. My god. Brakes, very linear, very easy to modulate, high resolution. The way the car does exactly what you want it to do. The sound of the engine on those blips, it's just such money, dude. Such money. Oh, a little heel-toe double clutch, no issue. No learning curve. Such great body control. Dude, the Magnarite is very well dialed here. It is stiffer with the R, and you're having incredible body control with just enough compliance, absorbing the bumps, not getting upset over any of these surfaces. And this is not the smoothest road. That's by design. I want to test the suspension. Maybe just a touch on some of these bigger bumps. Just a touch too much. Holy shit, man. You can get this for 55 to 65K on the market right now? What? the level of driving experience here is well above that price point. Holy shit, guys. When I was driving it up, I wasn't pushing it as hard. And I was like, you know, the whole like Porsche making a Mustang thing is like, it's kind of there, but not quite, because, you know, the steering in the heavier mode, it has like this kind of unnatural weighting, and like there is a little bit of like not quite as much one-to-one as a Porsche when you're driving it, whether it's slow or fast. But the thing is, in this car, when you start pushing it harder, when you start going 6-7 tenths, then everything becomes one-to-one. When you're driving it slower, it actually doesn't feel quite as natural as a Porsche. The inputs aren't quite as delicate and well-balanced. I love that delicacy to Porsches, where there's such a level of precision and fine-tuning to and calibration to all the inputs. Let me just give you a pull first. What an engine. The sound and the character changes. What an engine, dude. One of the best sounding V8s, at least with the American muscle flavor. My God. I was not expecting this. I knew these were cool cars, man. I was not expecting this. This is by far my favorite Mustang. The Dark Horse is sick, but this is just next level, man. This is just... Whew! This drives so well when you push it, man. The weighting and calibration of the inputs is not super dialed when you're going slow. When you start pushing it, things... And again, the steering has to be in the normal setting, because in the sport setting, it's like the weighting's just a bit off, but... Dude, the chassis dynamics, it gives you a ton of communication. You know exactly what's happening with the car. It has this very natural balance too, front to rear, just like, dude, this is exactly what you want in your sports car. This would be a riot on track. This engine, the inputs, the brakes, everything is just, I'm just so blown away, man. I'm really blown away. Ford and the Shelby team, the GT350R is by far my favorite Mustang. So to answer that first question at the beginning of the video, is this the Mustang that Porsche would make? Almost. Again, when you're driving it slower, you're gonna notice a little bit of that lack of complete one-to-one and delicacy. Again, these are minor nitpicks, guys, minor nitpicks. And as you own and drive this car, you're gonna get totally used to everything. But just first time behind the wheel, spending 10, 20 minutes. It's what Porsche would make if they wanted that American brutishness, but also the engineers and the guys who are calibrating all the inputs were just like, not drunk, but like a little bit tipsy, just to get that, you know, 5-10% off from the mark of a modern Porsche GT car. Big shout out to the owner, Matt, for letting me review his GT350R. Big shout out to Fenton from the Zygreen channel. And my friends, if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. Much love, and I'll see you all in the next one.